If you've found this video and you feel like really attracted to this, there's definitely a message in here for you, so please stay tuned. Welcome. This is going to be a topic on one of the limbs, Yamas, and we're going to be diving really deep into what these things mean, how I feel they mean in my body, and the experiences that they can really give to you in your personal growth. I'm really excited to explore all of this because I feel like I'm still on my own little journey to understanding things, so sharing this wisdom, sharing this knowledge is only helping me to dive into it even more, and there is so much juice here. I have studied 250 hours of yoga, so there is so much more that I would love to explore when it comes to being a teacher in yoga and really embodying this practice truly to its core. I feel like I have been on my own personal journey, flowing in and out of the entire practice, because there's just so many things that come up for me, and there's so many things to reflect on, and then there's just the practice in itself, and I'm just so in love with this entire journey of yoga. Every time that I kind of lose my way or kind of go into a bit of a journey where I feel really far away from myself, I always get pulled back into yoga, but it's because I just feel so centered, mainly around using my breath. And I'm going to dive into why I lent into just sort of focusing on breath work for a minute there, and how much that actually really impacted my life and how much I just use that all the time. There is 8 limbs of yoga. And so what that means is there's not just asana poses in that class. Usually you are touching base on not only a pose, but you're also touching base on the breath, meditation. Sometimes at the end, you're also focusing on certain elements and themes and locations of the body, and detoxing and cleansing out our emotional state so that we can really help to calm our nervous system and realign on a soul urge journey. I'm saying here that yoga has to be your answer, but it has given some really beneficial tools that I really want to speak on that maybe you can use at home right now for yourself. Things like breath work, things like meditation, and how that actually feels and looks like in your mind, and how you can actually utilize that. Things like moving the body to really release stress and tension, so that you can give back to your body and really come back into more of a movement and flow with the energetics of your own being, rather than being up here in the monkey mind. Things like cleaning out your space and really coherently collaborating with your environment, and making sure that that is also your feedback to how you feel inside, and your relationships with not only yourself but your outside self as well. And it's a bit of a self-study, you know. I feel like I'm really all about self-development and self-growth, and finding ways to be able to understand the mind and how the mind works with the body and how the body works in life, and really feeling a spiritual journey. I think I have had moments in my life where I have felt like I've been on a really spiritual journey, and I feel like all of our paths really just unfold naturally as they are, and sometimes it's really spiritual and sometimes it's really not that spiritual. Maybe you feel really disconnected, and I really found yoga to help me understand what I was going through and what I was experiencing. And so it wasn't something that I was using to help with my experience, but it was something to use to understand my experience. And I really want to help reframe that. And I think that when we use these practices, it's not really taking our power away or our discernment away from the natural effect that is happening in our life. Life is just orchestrated in this divineness, right? And if maybe right now we don't feel that and maybe sometimes we can come into conflict with ourselves about why certain things might be happening, and this is where we start to lose that sort of track of being in the spiritual space, you know, and not being connected to what's actually going on because of pain or, you know, circumstances that might be really making us question, like, what is this even happening for? And so yoga or even just a space to really just sit down and breathe and really tune into the self is only not even enhancing, but giving us place to understand, giving a place to come to peace and acceptance with what is going on and how you can move through what you're going through. It's not to quote unquote change or master your life or empower your life and be in this space of like trying to move away from what's actually going on and trying to make it look like something else is happening and change the story. It's about really embracing what is happening right here and right now. There is 8 limbs, and the first limb is Yama. So Yama is all about restraint. There is 5 categories that go underneath Yama, and they really sort of feed and needle into themselves. So the first one is non-harming, which is, I'm going to butcher these words, the cryptic words, and I'm still learning and trying to intertwine into my life. But this one is Amisa. So non-harming. So this is really, I feel like, a good place to start when we hear these things is coming internally and within first. So how are we harming ourselves? How are we creating harm in our life? Sitting and reflecting on these subjects and these things, and this could be as on the small trajectory of killing a spider in our house if we feel afraid of it. That's still creating harm, right? Or it could be internalizing this idea around harming something or someone. That's still creating harm within. So harm can really kind of be sporadic, and this is where it gets really interesting, because in all of these categories that I'll speak on, they all reflect some sort of like inner worldly like awareness on you, on yourself, and how you show up in your world right here, right now, is how your world is being reflected. The second one is Satya, which is truth telling. So being truthful with yourself, being truthful with how you are seeing life right now, how you are feeling right now. Are you being truthful to how you are showing up in your relationships? Are you being truthful to the discernment and the agreement that you have upon yourself to commit to something? Are you being truthful around something or an emotion or a feeling that is really pulling at you? And I feel like you know when there is maybe like a lie, or maybe like, because the polarity of truth is lie. So, you know, where are you lying and where are you, you know, trying to sort of push a certain aspect of yourself to the side that's not being truthful to you. The next one is Brahmakara, which is moderation. How much are we taking? How much content are we consuming? How much are we, you know, absorbing, and are we partying too much? Are we eating too much? Are we indulging in something, you know, and keeping moderation in all of that? And that is the practice, right? Are we able to bring moderation into our life, to be content, to fill up our cup 80% and allow the rest to still have space and time to breathe and not be too full? Can we really be okay with moderation? One is Astiya, which is non-stealing. So this came up in my last yoga class because I was teaching this category of Yama, and I came across non-stealing, and there was this idea around non-stealing. It's easy to kind of like look at non-stealing as maybe you go to the shops and you could take something, right? Are you taking some chips, putting it in your pocket and walking out the door? Stealing, right? Or you could be showing up to a yoga class, you could be showing up to a dance class or a practice of some sort, or some sort of performance, or maybe you're going into a place where you're trying to find new skills. Are you stealing someone else's way? Are you creating a business? Are you stealing someone else's way? Are you creating something? Are you doing something in your life that is looking at someone else or something else that is outside of you to create? And are you taking that and stealing that to benefit yourself? That can be stealing. And so this is such an interesting thing to reflect, because I, for one, in my past have definitely done this. And I think a part of my journey in unfolding my own confidence and knowing how I wanted to build my own career and how I wanted to move into a place that was really authentic, I was vulnerable, and I definitely took ideas from other people and took ways on how other people were doing things because it felt like that was the way. I was like, wow, that is such a great way, let's go there. But that is so crossing this, it's crossing something that is like a little bit of your integrity. And when you're crossing that place of integrity, you're being like dishonest with yourself, and you're not being truthful to what you're truly wanting to be creating. So that was definitely something to consider and to really sit with when you're moving through these things. And the last one is appaigara, non-attachment. So this is a beautiful one, because I feel like in our life we really love to attach to things. It brings safetyness and a comfort, and it brings maybe a sense of security. It brings a sense of belonging in some way, and being attached to something isn't really a bad thing. None of these things are a bad thing, but when we are attached to something for too long, or something that we're attached to is starting to condition our life, creating this non-attachment and practicing this non-attachment, letting go, detaching, letting yourself become one and whole with you, becoming union with yourself, and not attaching always to something. It's okay to ebb and flow and attach, you know, hold on, let go, hold on, let go. I feel like that's such a contraction of life. That's such a breath of life, is to breathe in and hold, and to let go and hold, breathe in and let go. And we are so bounded into this life of attachment. We have things that we are needing to show up to. We have things that fill our voids, that give us validation, and those things are all okay. But practicing this idea of it detaching and coming into a place of non-attachment can be really, really healing for you, because the next time you do attach to something, to someone, to a season of your life, to a part of yourself that you're really enjoying, or there's a reason why you're doing that, maybe you're not enjoying it, but this attachment is here, there's more of a discerning decision that you can come to when you can feel that maybe that is starting to take over your life a little bit too much, and maybe you can pull back from it. And practicing this ebb and flow of attaching and detaching can really help you to move through certain circumstances that may not be benefiting you in your life. That is the Yamas. That is the first limb of yoga. And I love talking about this topic and about this subject, because there is so much within just that first limb, within Yama. And that can be such a powerful piece to really start to fine tune and dive into all these little aspects of yourself that can help you move into a place that is being more authentic, more truthful, more honest with your own self and your own experience of life, to not steal other people's ways, and to really liberate yourself into your own truth and stand strong in who you are. And this is a beautiful time to really come into a place that you are being super authentic with your own self, with your own being, to really keep all of this protected. And the way that we can do all of this and protect all of this is to move through these emotions and move through these ways or understandings. And like I said, yoga isn't the be all or end all, but it's a way to really start to think about what is actually happening in your life and how you want to really start to experience it in a more positive way, and in a more way that you can go to bed at night and be really proud of yourself for choosing to do this type of work. If you enjoyed this video, if you had any questions or anything that you wanted to dive deeper into, please let me know in the comments or reach out to me. I'm always happy to have a chat, and the next video will be about the second limb, Yamas, so stay tuned.